boring. So
it is boring.
Not anymore.
What is going on? Back with another Heavy Pour Sports Week 13 preview. And golly, it has been a rough week for Kentucky folks. My goodness, I need all of this to stop. We sit there, we watch Kentucky football, 2-game win streak, watch Louisville lose, 2-game lose streak, and it's like basketball's coming. It's only going to get better. And boy, did it just get way, way worse. We had not been on here since the Louisville game. I know T certainly enjoyed the collapse of BBN Twitter after that loss. And then the slow climb back up to belief, and then the immediate tank after the Michigan State game. I got my takes on why I think it's way too early to panic. You can be frustrated, but quitting on the team and saying the season's already over because of 2 pretty bad outings, but only 5 games of the season, as non-biased as you can be. And remember, I think you all got to play Louisville coming up, right?
We do.
All right, so yeah, you're going to experience that fan base firsthand, and I think you'll switch your mind real quick of your Twitter support of the Cardinals nation. But those 2 games, not good. What'd you see from Kentucky, from Pope, is it panic button time? T, what do you think? Come on, you were real loud on Twitter.
Yeah, it's fun to mess with Kentucky fans, boy. It's just like I told you last week. I think it's too early in the season, and I mean, y'all have put together talent. There's talent on the roster, so Pope has to make some adjustments, maybe in how he wants to play and what he wants his style to be this season. I don't know that y'all got the 3-point shooters. Maybe there was an expectation that Owe improved his shot more than he did. Or maybe y'all were planning to lean on Noah a little bit more. I don't know, but I think if he starts leaning more on the athleticism that y'all have, more slashing, cutting, driving, being strong type stuff, I think that's the direction that y'all need to go. But there's enough talent there, and it's way too early in the season. So um, I think y'all still got time. But I'm loving the breakdown of Big Blue Nation, baby. It has been
Yeah.
glorious to see. I love it.
And I understand it. I mean, I don't like it at all, but I understand it. We beat Purdue. We had, this team, then we go beat the number one team, Purdue, in an exhibition, but we look good.
That's what y'all got for raising the banner on a daggum exhibition game.
We didn't
man.
raise a banner. We didn't
You
raise a
did.
banner. We just said
Y'all went crazy after that game.
yeah, we deserve to go crazy. We look good. We look good. We're like, hey,
No,
the team's coming
y'all
together.
were definitely like, oh, this is number 9 year, whoop de whoop whoop, and you were dropping names and like this person's gonna do it and that person's gonna do it. Like the way that y'all are behaving right now, it was the exact 180 post Purdue game. It was 100%. We're the best team in the country. We beat the number one. Whoop de whoop whoop. And this is what y'all got. This is what y'all get for getting so hype after a dang exhibition game.
If it hadn't been raining, y'all would have had a parade. Come on.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know about all that, but I think we had a right to be excited. Did we go overboard? Of course. That's what we do. I mean, like no one was surprised at the reaction of BBN after that game. And then the Georgetown game happens. I agree with the talent on the team. I hear all the folks talking about. Yeah, see, there's coach right there.
I know that y'all do it to yourselves. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I think that the talent is there. Everybody's saying we got a bunch of role players. You look at Zell, and he was going to be the leading guard for the former national championship team before he decided to leave and take a nice check from Kentucky. The talent is there. The roster construction is unfortunate right now with Jaden Quayton's being hurt, and then really another year where we only had one true point guard on the team. So J-Lo not being there. And you can say what you want about J-Lo's talent. Is he truly an SEC level point guard? He's shifty enough. He can get downhill. He can create for the rest of the team like no one else on Kentucky. So when you lose that, it's unfortunate. And you also don't have an Amari Williams type yet who can play the point forward, point center position and distribute from the top as a big man who can see the floor well. So all those things aren't coming together for Kentucky, and it's resulted in just bad performances when it comes to putting together a full 40-minute game. Before I talk about the backlash Pope got for his post-game and then today's press conference, because I think that's super silly, and I think I have a pretty good argument of why folks are overreacting. Two things. One, if I'm going to be critical of Pope, and I think he deserves it at this point, as far as he's been outcoached twice, in back-to-back games, and it happened all season. We were talking about it in the group chat. Pope will have a lineup that's clicking. Maybe we're not putting together all the way defensively or all the way offensively, but like the games are close. We had a lead or we're just down by a one possession game. And then his analytics tells him that from practices and all these other things that at a certain minute mark per player or per rotation, that there's a performance drop off. So now we got to make these mass subs come in. So 2, 3, 4 guys are coming in at a time or in a really close span. And next thing you know, these folks aren't clicking. And that lead that was a one possession lead for the other team, or even potentially for us in the Michigan State game, us being up with like 13, 12 minutes in the first half, balloons up to a 15, 17-point deficit that we got to climb back in. And now you put a Colin Chandler back in the game. You put an Otega Oweh back in the game, who was showing flashes, still not the Oweh we need, but was showing flashes. But Colin Chandler was cooking early that game. You sit him down, he comes back in, gets in foul trouble, can't play most of the second half because he gets 4 fouls, and it's just like everything piles up. And that's why I think you see Pope on the sideline trying to figure out, okay, now what's my new rotation who can get us back in the game. who are the guys who can hustle and win this game for us, outside of the restricted minutes or, lineups or what his original game plan was. He has to break that habit. I don't know who can talk to him to be like, listen, dude, if we are clicking, like if these guys are playing, these are, D1 professional athletes and they're still young. They're between 18 and 22, right? So, they can play a 30-minute basketball game if they need to. And if that's what needs to happen to win, that's what you got to do. Throw the book away, your Coach Pope analytics book on coaching, throw it away because right now we just need to win ball games. And sometimes your model will work and sometimes it's not, but you have to have a feel for the game, right? And I think that's what is frustrating to watch is there's no true feel for the game where, hey, these five that are on the court right now, we're hitting that minute mark, but man, they look good playing ball, so I'm going to keep them in the game, right? He doesn't have that or won't for some reason, which is super frustrating. So I think that's why depth almost in this point, especially when we're not as deep or as talented at the back end of the bench as we thought we were, it's almost hurting us right now. We have to stop forcing players on the floor who aren't interested or just aren't picking up, aren't making the jump. Brandon Garrison, for example. Malachi Moreno has outplayed him. And it's not even close. Like he makes some young mistakes. He's a big body. You would wish he could finish tough baskets around the rim, and he hasn't been able to do. He's missed some easy ones. His free throw shooting has gotten better over the last couple of games, and he does get lost here and there defensively. But the dude's motor is 10x what Brandon Garrison's is, and you can just see him understanding the game more, especially when it comes to trying to distribute as a big man in Pope's offense. So I know sitting Brandon Garrison or giving Malachi Moreno the start has a potential to lose him mentally because that's just who he is. But I think you have to understand as a coach, if I want to win games, I got to do what's best for the team. And BG getting the majority of the minutes at the 5 is not it. And it's on the young man to sit on the bench and realize that he's got to do more, or he can sit on the bench and pout and not get back in the ball game and not play substantial minutes. That's on him, not on the coaching staff. You only can try to develop him so much before it's like, hey man, it's kind of on you to put in the extra work. I don't know if you saw any of the highlights of Brandon Garrison on the basketball court or watched him in any of these two games and have any sort of assessment on his play compared to the other big man, Malachi Moreno, the true freshman.
I'll leave that one to Hammer. I don't know those guys. So I know one player on your team by name. For now, I mean, I'm sure I'll hate watch some more and get to know him. But right now, I guess I know two guys now. I know Trent Noah, and then whatever your guy who flexes on dime state, nickel state, that guy. Those, which, by the way, Kentucky has a habit of doing, just like y'all got all hype about Cutter Boley running over some Tennessee.
And that was a good play. Don't stop. That was a good play.
Again, just like the dunk. The dunk was a good dunk against Nickel State. It was a good play against Tennessee Tech. Like, you didn't see us throwing highlights from ETSU all over the place.
Because you didn't have any. You didn't have anybody run anybody over. But Brandon Garrison was on the team last year, backed up Maury Williams. Probably, I don't actually remember how he played in those games.
I'm with you,
but there were a lot of teams looking for him, and in the portal when he decided to stay. And I'm not exactly sure what he got paid, but the thought was he's got the talent to be special. He can stretch the floor. He actually can shoot the 3 at about a 30% clip. He's got a decent shot there. The game moves too fast for him. He's just a click off. And when you're a click off at this level.
This isn't about him in particular, but the reason I'm enjoying college basketball more than the NBA lately is because there are still positions and they still run plays, right? Like we've kind of complained about it. Every team in the NBA just runs the same thing. There are no point guards. There are no positions. Just spread the floor, ISO, or pick and roll, right? Right now, what you're saying is y'all don't have a point guard, or you only got one, or you don't have point guard depth. And you might need to turn and look at an NBA style offense this particular season, because you don't really, in an NBA style offense, you don't need somebody to really run the show. It's like somebody just come down, open up, win a one-on-one battle. So if you got athletes and guys who can make some things happen on their own, off the dribble or in the pick and roll, you might need to do that if you're not able to get any kind of creators. But I was kind of looking at y'all stats while you were talking, and so far y'all have been pretty horrendous shooting, particularly from three. And that's what Pope wants to do. So now, can you pick it up? Sure, but he needs to be prepared to. I know he's installed an offense and all that, but he better come up with some stuff quick, because y'all have had some 20% from three games, particularly against Louisville, low 30s. So I mean, if y'all are going to live and die by the three, so far you've been dying. So he might need to look at going more NBA style this season, even if that's not really what he's about, which I'm sure it's not what he's about, because when he played in Kentucky, that's like basketball purity, right? And you're really running an offense and all that. But if y'all can't,
I think the unfortunate part with that is you got Denzel Aberdeen, you got Otega Owe. Maybe we just don't know when he's actually going to show up, or and at some point there's going to be a transition from, hey, Otega Owe is not giving us effort, to maybe last year was an anomaly, and the real Otega Owe is what we're seeing now. I hope it's not. I don't believe it is. But really, you got Zell and you got Otega, and maybe Colin Chandler. He's more of he can get downhill cutting. You watch him dribble, like he can get to the rim, but he's not going to blow by somebody. So you really only have two dudes who maybe can win one-on-one matchups. And I would say once you get into SEC play, or even, you saw Michigan State guards, like these dudes that we were playing were just better, and they were better coached, and they could do that. That Carr kid could break somebody down and get right by him. Mikael Brown could do that. We don't have that guy right now on the roster. Coach Pope has to find a way to get them, open shots. It was Kobe Bray had his special moments last year, like against Florida, against you guys, where he was dribbling behind the back, between the legs, pull up and shoot, and he could catch that. But that was rare. Most of them were, either dribble drive threes, or they were running some action to get some open threes, especially, like when he had Ansley in the corner who could make that shot. Same thing for Trent Noah. So he's got to figure out a way to get some offense flowing for this team. And I'm not a big Field of 68 fan, to be honest, but I was watching a clip from them today, and it actually made sense to me what the guy was saying. I don't know which dude it was. I don't know his name, but he was talking about how he was there for the game, kind of followed Kentucky around, was at shoot around, and talked to him about the Louisville, talked to Pope about the Louisville game. And he was saying Pope was frustrated because he's like, I go watch the film against Louisville and I can't actually assess my team correctly because all I see is crap effort. Like, it's really tough to break film down and find out where we're flawed offensively and defensively when all I'm seeing is just dudes getting lost in ball watching and actually not running the game plan, which it's I could see how that would be frustrating. It's like, I don't even know what problem to fix, because right now I shouldn't have to be fixing effort problems like that shit. We should be able to get into a game against Louisville and Michigan State and effort not be the issue. We might not be able to shoot. We might not be able to rebound with these guys, but at the end of the day, we are there putting in the effort. And there's just too many plays where you can see, it's just lackadaisical and there's no communication. So I don't even know how he makes a true assessment of those two big games that we lost. Coach is dropping it in the comments. I agree. You're not going to convince me to actually pay $22 million for this roster, but regardless, they're still getting paid good money. So I'm not super worried about their mental, or their ability to mentally handle getting benched, like, sorry, that is sports. It is based off of how you perform, and if you're not performing well, you're going to get benched. 12 in the last 24 Power 4 game. Yeah, we had. I think the honeymoon phase is over for Pope. All those top 15 wins coming out, beating Duke and Gonzaga last year, and now we lose the first two, and there's panic. We'll move on from Kentucky basketball in a second, but I got my last little rant here is, and I don't know if you guys watched the post-game press conference for Michigan State, either with Field of 68 or with the media. They had to wait like 45 minutes to come out. Apparently, there was probably some heated conversations in the locker room. Pope comes out, and when he's talking to Jeff Goodman, and you could just tell the dude's beat up. The dude is beat up. Like he's looking down at Jeff Goodman, so he's naturally going to be like looking down. But you could just tell like his demeanor is he's trying to search for answers. He hates losing, obviously, but he's got to come out and do this interview and try to express like what is going on. And then he sits down in front of the media. There's some Kentucky media there, national media, and he just tells them like, "Hey, listen, like I am surprised we're here where we're at right now, and me being surprised that we're losing like this is on me. I got to figure it out as a coach. We're failing right now, but we're not going to fail in the future." Was pretty much, paraphrasing his comments. And oh my goodness, I mean, even big time Kentucky media folks are talking about how the dude is lost. He shouldn't be out here saying the things he's saying. That this is he's in over his head. He can't handle it. Pope can't coach here. He's got outcoached by two teams. Like it's and then of course the fan base with the fire Pope already is ridiculous. I would like to remind folks when Cal was here and we would lose to Evansville at home, or barely squeak out a win against an opponent that we should beat by 30 plus, or we would lose in the championship classic against Duke. We got blown out by Duke before. We had a 16-point lead against Kansas and lost that game. He would sit down and tell us, "Hey, not worried about these games right now. Okay, I like my team. We're built for March." Right? There was no like real accountability. There was no explanation. It was like, "Hey, we're not playing for right now. We're playing for March." And then what happened over the last 5 years? March didn't happen either, right? And Kentucky fans got super pissed that this is all we got from him. There were sometimes he would even show up, or he'd tell us like, "Hey, the press conference has to end early because I got to go see my dogs." Like legit, these are things he would say. Or rewind to last year with Stoops, where we're losing and losing and losing, and there's no accountability. He's sitting there, he's talking to the media like, "I don't know why you're looking at me. We have a top roster. They're not playing well enough." And while all the things about the locker room were coming out, and fans were pissed about that. So now you have a coach who truly hates losing. I'm sure all coaches do, but this guy is showing you emotion up front. You might want to have a little more composure. Me personally, I like the leadership and accountability of like, "Hey, this is on me," right? So if we are losing like this, the players are getting paid, but at the end of the day, y'all are finger pointing and chest poking me about how to figure out how to win, right? So I'm going to be the one to take accountability, and I'll keep the rest of who is actually the problem in the locker room. I appreciate that. I appreciate him coming out and looking beat up, looking like he's ill from losing, okay? So you can be frustrated. You can be pissed off that we lost against Louisville and then got embarrassed by Michigan State, and it's another Champions Classic that we lose. But quitting on the team, I think is ridiculous. And heavy is the head that wears the crown. He's owning his spot in these losses. I'm just saying we don't necessarily need to keep piling on the shoulders of Pope, especially the folks like the big Kentucky media who people actually listen to. No one's listening to me talk, but there's a lot of people out there who listen to the Jack Pilgrims and the KSR of the world, and you hitting that panic button for clickbait, I think is absolutely ridiculous. We're 5 games in the season. Let's see how this thing plays out. Rant over. I feel better now, to be honest.
Good.
Therapy.
God, I hope I'm right. I hope we get this figured out. I really do.
I really hope you do.
I know you don't.
I
know you don't.
I'm loving it. It's great. It's great.
But we got 2 cupcakes coming up, and then we're going to roll right into some heavy hitters. December is a gauntlet. And I don't know that we're going to get JQ back or when J-Lo's back, if at all. You got what you got, though. So the roster is no longer an excuse. You got what you got. Figure it out. Figure out how to coach it up, get effort out of this team, and bench the dudes you got to. If that means you're only playing a 7-8-man roster instead of 10 to 11-man rotation like you want to, whatever. It's only money well spent if we win games. And I honestly don't care if there's money sitting on the bench they don't deserve to play. But moving on to the game you actually care about, Florida, Tennessee, in the swamp. Massive game for Tennessee. Both of y'all have kind of put this out there on Twitter, and we've talked about it before where, one, there's going to be a little bit of a gap between you guys playing them in the swamp again to get an opportunity. This is the most vulnerable Florida has been in a very, very long time. And you get a chance to finally get that monkey off your back to go into the swamp and whip some gator tail. How do you see it working out? And is Heupel finally going to get that win? Hammer, what you think?
Hammer.
Well, if you look at statistics, you look at rosters, you look at coaching, everything points the direction of Tennessee, right? Quarterback play. I'll be honest, I am not versed enough in Florida's roster to see this injury report to know if any of those guys matter. But that's a lot of defensive players, a couple of linemen that are on that list. So obviously it affects depth. I don't know how deep those guys.
I think I saw Florida media writer or beat reporter say that it was 20% of the scholarship defense was on that injury report.
Yeah, it was quite a bit, and I'll mini rant here, and I'll get through it quick. I despise this team. I hate Florida. I hate Florida more than I hate Alabama. And they're not even technically a rival. But I grew up when Florida was completely irrelevant in football. And then Spurrier shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to live and T's nodding his head because he knows. I had to live through that pain of the 90s and the 2000s with Spurrier and then eventually Urban and Tebow and all that nonsense. And it's the worst experience I've ever had in a stadium, arena. I've never been to jail, but I would imagine jail would have been more fun than going to Gainesville. We have to go down here and win this game.
You have to.
The last time we play them on an annual basis, we've and time again we've had better talent, better players, and we invent ways to lose this game in Gainesville. So I don't know what voodoo we got to cook up to break whatever this curse is that we have down there. But just like you said, Rando, with Pope and where the Kentucky team is right now, he's got to figure it out. We have got to figure out, because we've got the Gators this week, And then we've got that Diego Poverty chick and the nerds from Peabody coming in next week. And, I mean, these are both must-win football games. And I'm seeing a lot of fellow Vol fans out there talking about these kind of crazy scenarios. T, you remember back in the day when we had the BCS and everybody was formulating how we would be able to get in the top two if this team lost and this team beat that team and somebody played somebody close. And can we stop all this nonsense? Listen, we're not getting in the playoff, okay? The committee's trying like hell to get a 3-loss Texas team in. And God forbid Notre Dame lose another game between now and then, because then we'll probably see 2 9-3 teams in the playoff. We ain't going to be one of them.
That's right.
We can go down there and win by 50 in the Chlamydia Bowl. We can send Diego Poverty to his future Dollar General career next week. We ain't getting in. So just stop, okay? What we have to do is just go down there and win a football game, and then next week defend our home field against this punk that has shot his mouth off for the last 8-9 months, and just let things fall where they fall. We can't end this season 7-5. Transition year. The volleyball player left in the spring. We plucked Joey out of the portal. He's got about 15 minutes and a cup of coffee to learn the playbook. None of that matters right now. We got to go down there. We got to win this game. We cannot turn the ball over. We've got to get off the field on 3rd down, and we have to come away with points in the red zone. If we do those 3 things, we can win this game. If we don't do any one of those 3 things, we're going to lose. And history tells me that we shouldn't be favored in this game. I don't care what the records are. I don't care what the stats say. I don't like being favored going into this game, T. My official play, if anybody cares, is under 57. I don't see points flying around here. I think it's going to be a struggle. Florida's offense is god-awful. Our defense is not quite as god-awful. And we've got to figure out a way to score touchdowns and stop kicking field goals, because we suck at that too.
Yeah, I'm on board with you, Dad. The last time we won in the Swamp was in 2003 with my favorite Tennessee quarterback, Casey Clausen. So it has been
2003.
22 years.
You have got to win this football game.
Yeah,
yep.
That's why even today I posted, because it's a night game. They sold out at the Swamp, and they stink. And it still matters to, like, they're not even going to a bowl game, and bowl games don't matter, and they're selling out for this game. Like this.
Yeah.
And just like Hammer said, it's not a rivalry by geography, but this is a rivalry. And Richie actually asked me on Twitter today, why do we hate Florida so much? And I said, because Steve Spurrier.
Yep.
So I'm with Hammer. I hate Florida more than anybody. I hate Florida more than I hate y'all in basketball. Like, it just, I can't stand them. And so this game matters to me just because I always want to beat Florida. This is I won't even say our best chance, because like Hammer said, we've given it away so many times. Felipe Franks play is the most painful play in my life, even more than Terrence Cody blocking the field goal. So I wouldn't say this is the best opportunity, but it is a prime opportunity to go. We are better than them. They did just give up 200 and something yards to the running back from Ole Miss. Like, there are a ton of things there that are prime for us to capitalize on. But you just got to do it. And Heupel has every year, like, we drop a game that we should win. We should have won the Georgia game, but it's Georgia. So, okay. Alabama, we shot ourselves in the foot, but it's Bama. OU shot ourselves in the foot, but OU has proven to be the real deal. So Florida is right here on the table to be the game that we should win. You know, our South Carolina game, Hendon Hooker's here. our Arkansas game last year with Nico. This game is primed to be the game that's an inexcusable loss, I guess, is the better. Like, you can at least excuse OU, the Gumps and Georgia. You can't excuse losing to Florida this year. So we're the better team, but it's just something that you got to go out and do. And the game matters. And I don't think we're back in the swamp till like 2029 or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, we gotta capitalize on this. I'm nervous about it. I feel good about the boys on paper matched up against them, but Joey's got to be smarter. Can't just keep putting the ball in harm's way. Got to see the field. Got to see that backside safety. And I think Florida would have seen that, and they'll probably be baiting him with that kind of stuff now. And just have a backside safety just roaming around out there doing whatever he wants. So Joey's got to see the field a little better, be smarter. Miles Kitzelman is hurt. Our tight end. I love Miles Kitzelman as a Tennessee Volunteer. I love what he brings to the team from a leadership standpoint, from an intangible standpoint, what he brings to the locker room. He has struggled with drops all season. A lot of them have led to interceptions and stuff. So he's out, and now, man, I'm having a brain fart. Who's our guy, Hammer? The one that can
Ethan Davis. Yeah,
thank you. So now Ethan Davis will have a chance to capitalize on maybe even some more passes. So it'll be good to see that. I think Peyton Lewis is questionable.
That's right.
And they said that Star Thomas has been battling through some injuries for a lot of the season, which kind of answers my frustration for the last few weeks. But we've got it might have to be a Deshaun Bishop game, because again, the dude from Ole Miss had 200 something yards. So feed Deshaun Bishop. You got the best trio of wide receivers in the country, in my opinion.
Yep.
And you got a tight end now who can catch. So we're positioned to be successful there. I think it's easy to get Lagway kind of out of himself, get some pressure on him. We should win this game. Honestly, it shouldn't even be that competitive.
Shouldn't be.
Yeah.
I think Kentucky had 268 yards rushing on Florida, this like top 5 defense, Cutter Boley only had 168 yards passing through for 2 touchdowns and a pick, if I remember correctly. But we dropped 38 points in this team. And the game is won by y'all running the ball well. And I think you just have to take – obviously, Heupel's going to take shots. He's going to want to sling it around. And I think you got to beat this team quick. Make this within the first quarter and a half. The fan base is like, why do we even show up? Like, that's what you got to try to do. Keep them silenced. And on the road, the run game silences the crowd. We've said it 100 times. And you're right, T. You got to make Lagway a pocket passer. That's what we did. We were successful, kept him in the pocket. And the dude can't throw. He's got a rocket. Like, the thing will come out of his hand at 100 miles an hour. Zero idea where it's going. And if you can keep, I think his last name, is it Ba or Bo? If you can keep him contained and you just got to force him to throw the ball, they cannot score. The only thing you got to watch out for is if DJ Lagway sucks again, this kid they got on the bench, he can actually sling it pretty good. He actually moved the ball. He made some crucial errors and turn it over late in the game. But I think you want to see DJ Lagway for all 4 quarters in this game. If you see the backup, I don't remember his name, but watched him play. He's an athlete and has a decent arm on him. And why he isn't playing, I'm not quite sure. But he at least looked, for the brief time he had, better than Lagway did.
Dad, it's 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, so I think that'll be 3:30 out there for you in Saudi. And yeah, you're right. Keep him contained, because Lagway's still a good athlete. He can run around, make him throw it. Have to be super accurate. I mean, it's kind of the same way they did us when we had Milton. You don't let Joe Milton move around and be the great athlete that he is, and let him try to slice and dice you. and kind of also the same thing, absolute bazooka for an arm, and just can't do anything with it. So yeah, let's do that with Lagway. So yeah, I don't know. I would say I feel better about this one, but it's just, again, it's been since 2003, so we'll see. But on Hammer Show preseason, we said 9-3. We said we said we were concerned about OU.
Yep.
And we said we got to at least get one of our big three of Georgia, Bama, Florida. So we're we're right on pace for what we predicted, and so this is the one that we got to get. So, and I think ending a season 10-3 is if we say we go and win our bowl game, that's still something that you can stand tall about, particularly when we were projected to be at the bottom of the conference this year anyway. We'll see. I'm nervous, but we should win it. But should and hope are not a COA, so we'll see.
Yeah, they dropped our win total from 9.5 to 8.5 after the volleyball player transferred out. So, Tennessee going 9-3 was kind of the expectation in the Vegas world. Anyway, we absolutely should have won the game against the leg humpers. We just didn't play well against the Gumps. And T and I pretty much all but called Oklahoma. We said they were going to be a problem, and we were nervous about that game. And some people could look at that as the one we should have won and didn't. I don't necessarily agree. And we've seen how that's played out with Oklahoma. That makes this must win.
Yep.
Right? And I know we shut down Vanderbilt in that dump that they play in on the West End last year, but they're not going to come in here and lay down next week either. So, I mean, these are critical games for people that said the season's over and these games don't matter. And just turn in your vol card because they absolutely do.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, you go 10-3 with the wins that you guys have. I will say, unfortunately for you, you're not going to be playing a 14 or better Vandy because we about to go to Nashville and smack them around for you. All right, so they're probably they maybe are still a top 20 team, but when Kentucky goes and beats them, they will drop the ranking a little bit. And maybe you'll get them and they'll just be morally beat down, and Pavi will know that his football career is over and it'll be an easy win for you. But back to Tennessee, 10-3. It's going to be a great bowl game for you. You have a high competition. You're going to be spotlighted against another great team who's also got a good record and just barely missed the playoff. You talked about it too as far as like recruiting goes. Like 10-3 with the big bowl win, that carries into the offseason. I'm sure you guys will have folks that you're recruiting in the stands. You'll do the whole thing. So getting that opportunity is big. You lose one of these two games, especially a poop Florida team. I think you might be able to deal with. You can't. You won't deal with.
Gotta win them both. Gotta win them both.
I was gonna say maybe a top ranked Vandy you could deal with. No, you're right. It's still Vandy, and you got to be able to beat them.
Yeah, and it used to. I wanted Vandy to win out, and then we be the ones that beat them. Now that would still be nice. So I'm okay with that, but now I don't care if y'all win either. Like go for it, and let's put them back in their place. I'm cool with that too.
Yeah, I have no problem with you guys going in there and smacking them around. Be perfectly fine with that.
Looks like Pops agrees too. Well, actually, he agrees that y'all will win. I don't know about that one, but
hey, listen,
I'll jump on board with it. Do I think it's going to happen? No, but I'm all for it.
I'm all for it.
Yep.
All right. So Kentucky Vandy. First, I got to see when is that game out here for us? 12:30. That's good news because I'm going my ball. I'm going to be all dressed up fancy. My ball Saturday. So and that thing kicks off at like 4:00. So I think I might be able to watch that game before we go into it. Kentucky football clicking, right? They are the complete opposite of what the basketball team is right now. Okay. And if you would have told me right now, at this moment, 4 months ago, that we would be going into a football game hoping that they were the one that were going to lift BBN spirits, I'd have told you are full of it. I was like, there is zero chance.
4 months ago or 4 weeks ago? Because I remember about 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago.
Here.
Yeah, 4 weeks ago. Did I say months ago?
You said 4 months ago.
4 months ago, 8-4 was the real deal. Okay.
4 months ago, 8-4 was mental illness, is what it was.
Hey, we got a chance to go 7-5, 8-5 with the bowl game. I'm just saying, I hear you. Close.
I hear
close. You. And we ain't there yet, but close.
I would love it because that means you're going to keep Stoops longer. So
I think that's already set. Unless when we talk about it, unless he decides to walk away and retire, he's back. We ain't firing him. The only worry in the offseason is going to be if Cutter Boley stays. But let's worry about that in the offseason. I'm telling you, there's this team which I thought was completely lost as far as the season goes. I didn't know if the locker room was going to stick around. We mentioned last show that the players actively coming out and calling out dudes like me and the rest of the media saying, hey, we heard y'all with the fire Stoops nonsense, and it really pissed us off, and we were playing for the coach. Like, when you hear that, I don't necessarily, the players aren't going to come out and bash the coach, but they didn't have to say anything. The fact that they decided to come out and say something, especially the starting quarterback, and was like, hey, I'm here doing this thing for Stoops, I think was massive. And I think they're rolling, right? And we're coming off 2 big wins. If I'm not mistaken, Vandy played, I don't know, some FCS team last time, and in their homecoming game. So I'm looking up their schedule right now to see who they played.
They just came off a bye. They're coming off a bye.
Oh, a bye. Oh, then they played. I guess they beat up Auburn, who dropped.
Well, that's basically an FCS team.
Yeah, I was gonna say not far from FCS.
But they let Auburn drop 38 on them in overtime. Because Auburn,
that stud receiver that they have was just going bananas.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, that's right. That was the coach bump game. Okay, it's coming back to me. Yeah, there was the new coach. They came out and played. But Auburn, now it was a huge freeze, but at home, couldn't do anything against the Kentucky defense. Now, Pavia is a guy who can escape the pocket, and that makes me nervous because we struggle with that. But we have now played multiple quarterbacks who can do that to us. Sellers destroyed us at South Carolina, and we have gradually been able to figure it out. That was the key to the Lagway Florida game, and we kept him in the pocket. So if you can do that to Pavia and put pressure on him, especially a dude with his stature, right? You can put pressure on him. He's not going to be able to, he's not super athletically gifted physically. I think we can overwhelm him, and the defense can do enough to let Cutter Boley cook. And I do truly believe Cutter Boley is special. And I think these games that he's been playing, and the losses that he had earlier in something like Texas, where a game that should have won and he loses, he essentially beats Arch Manning in every possible aspect of the game, but still takes away the L, which is the most important piece of the game. I don't know. There just seems to be a fire lit under a Boley. And with his legs, you can giggle at all you want, but he did run old boy over for a touchdown, right? So, like, he's shown he's got the ability to do something special with his arm and his legs. And Seth McGowan and Dowdell and these dudes, and you see, you really, I think the big click for Cutter Boley is Bush Hamdan has fully unlocked Kendrick Law. This kid is special, man. Not only is he the fastest dude on the field, he's actually a well-rounded wide receiver. You could see why he was a 5-star kid at Bama, right? Who was just kind of buried in the depth chart. So the fact that it's seemingly Bush Hamdan is able to do what he wants to do, and if there was thoughts before that, Stoops was kind of locking him down on what he could do as a play caller, the offense is definitely opened back up. And now you're using dudes, we even saw Jamori Macklin sighting a couple times in the last game, and Kendrick Law, J.J. Hester. These guys are starting to get used a lot more. And when there is even the slightest fear of that pass getting downfield and, a dude like J.J. Hester or Kendrick Law, opening up the top end of the defense, it really does a lot for our run game. So all these things are coming together, and I wish they would have came together earlier because we could have been actually talking about a special season, the Stoops bounce back, and we're getting it a little bit later, and it's Kentucky football. You tell me we're going to end 8-5. That's pretty exciting for us. So we're there, man, and I truly think we're going to beat Vandy. This isn't me talking about beating Tennessee or me talking about, beating whatever team earlier in the season where I was trying to will myself to how we were going to get a win. Like, I think we legit got a shot. I think a lot of this team remembers what happened last year where they came in our trap and embarrassed us. We're going to Nashville. It's sold out, and it's going to be a good crowd. I think there's going to be a lot of blue that gets in, and we're going to leave there with the W. I believe it.
Well, a good crowd at Vandy is like 40,000. So.
Yeah.
But I will say this. Kentucky has a better quarterback than Peabody.
I think so. I 100% agree with you. 100% agree with you.
There's no question in my mind. And I know a lot of – I hope the Diego poverty for Heisman thing is calmed down because there's no reason in the world that guy should be on that list. Let's start there. But I've kind of watched Boley from the initial coming in and taking over for Calzada through what I saw him do against Texas, especially. He's a better quarterback, and he's got more potential.
Yeah.
So, and I think part of what you talked about, Rando, with Hamdan is kind of what happens with a young quarterback. You have to kind of, you baby step your way through the playbook, and now it seems like it's more open. He's got more confidence in him to, run the offense, and he clearly has a good grasp on it. So, if the defense plays up to their capability and they can keep him in check, don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Peabody's defense is pretty good. Then I think you guys have a shot. I can't say I would bet on it, but I'm right there with you, man. I'm hoping for you.
Yeah, I do think we'll be competitive in the trenches, right? I think we'll be able to move them. I really like how our O-line and D-lines play, especially our D-line. This defense figuring it out in the back half of the season where we are consistently getting in the backfield. Doesn't matter who we play. Consistently get in the backfield, rushing for, and then Brad White actually showing that he's got a set of nuts on him and sending pressure consistently, even with leads, and not just letting teams get back in it. Playing a prevent or just a safe defense and dropping in coverage. We're getting a lead and we're seeing that, hey, these cats aren't doing well with the pressure, and we're sitting it, and we're causing turnovers. The defense is going to win this game for us on the road. I don't think we're dropping 38 like Auburn did. But you tell me this is a 24, 27-point game, and we are right there in it. I think we have enough to score there. But you're right. We can't get careless with the ball. We can't have a regression with Cutter Boley like South Carolina, where we're in that game and then back-to-back turnovers and the defense scores 14 points, and you don't even have to make Diego Pavia play football, right? So be smart. I like Stoops' aggressiveness on some of these fourth down plays, but know that points are going to be at a premium here. So if you're in field goal range, let's take 3. You know, those sort of things. Only really push the issue in this game because I don't think if it was on the road against Tennessee, I would say you take every opportunity to go. Like you're playing Alabama, playing Georgia on the road, you take every opportunity. If it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, you got to go because it's the only way you're going to win this ball game. Against Vandy, it's field position, it's time of possession, and it's taking 3 when you might be able to get 6. Take 3 and then let your defense go and get the ball back for you and stack those points up throughout the game, and we'll get this win.
Yeah, I think you made a good point about Pavia's limitations. Remember, I mentioned that when they lost to Bama. Like Pavia he's great at galvanizing the troops, getting the boys. He's putting himself on the line. He can move around and scramble and make stuff happen. I tip my hat. He's a good quarterback, but he's limited, and I think that was exposed primarily in that Bama game. So kind of take a look at what Bama did and force him to really have to. It's kind of like we're talking about with Lagway. Obviously, they're not the same person, but force him to sit back there and just quarterback and not really let him do the Baker Mayfield, Johnny Manziel, just run around and make magic happen.
Yeah,
that's where he excels, when he just kind of gets
off schedule plays.
Yep. He gets to improvise and make it happen. So, not that he can't play quarterback, but I think you take him out of his element where he can excel if you limit his ability to be creative and just kind of make stuff happen.
And you can't let Eli Stowers beat you. You've got to. You're not going to take him out of the game, but you've got to limit him.
Yeah. Well, and that's Pavia's boy from New Mexico State, right? They came over together.
I don't know if they came together, but I know he's definitely the best receiving tight end he's a wide receiver, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he played a season at New Mexico State. I think they're roommates, like they came over together. I think that's why their connection is so tight, is that he was like a package deal with the OC from New Mexico State. So he finds them often.
Before that, he was at Texas A&M as well.
Okay. So I mean, just the kind of just going down the leaders, right? And we just talked about how Cutter Boley came in, missed 2.5 games of the season. He has thrown for 13 touchdowns, 8 picks, and 1,700 yards. Pavia's at 2,400 yards with 21 touchdowns and 5 picks. All right, so he's definitely got a lot better ratio there, but the yards isn't far off for missing 2 games. Our run game, Seth McGowan missed a game, and he's 600, almost 700 yards rushing. And Diego Pavia is their leading rusher with 600 yards, right? So, everything we are saying here is you cannot let him be a playmaker. You keep him in the pocket, because while he has a good arm, I think he's accurate. He can even push the ball downfield pretty well. He's not going to sit there and hitch and read and go through it, right? He's going to be 1, maybe 2, and then I'm looking to take off. So when he goes to take off, especially in that A and B gap, if we're going to be playing some man coverage, we got to be, I don't know if you go full on spy, but you got to have some protection there to where, you don't have, your entire back end of the defense streaking downfield playing coverage, and he sneaks a treat 15, 20 yards on you on a play that should have gone for nothing. But we'll see. I hope Blue gets in. I know State Line Co. is they're giving away hats and stuff for any Kentucky fans that are going to Nashville. We want this one. Want this one bad. And any reason to give it Kentucky and go to Nashville and party up a little bit, I think they'll take it. But I was looking for a line, Hammer, and ESPN doesn't have one. I don't know if that's because their bet thing is slowly dying, or if they just haven't had one yet. But their analytics only gives us a 23% chance of winning, which I don't particularly put a lot of stock in their analytics model.
No, there'll be a team favored 13.5 points, and ESPN's analytics will have them as a 54% chance of winning. I'm like, So they're 2 touchdown favorite, but you give them slightly better than a 50-50 shot. Come on, get out of here. It's nonsense.
But
Side, did you watch the UT TSU game, Hammer?
I did not. I had to push Wednesday's podcast to Thursday, so I kind of kept an eye on the stat tracker and went back and looked at the box score, but I didn't get to see it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I had parent teacher conference, so I didn't get to check it out. But Pops is TSU alum, so shout out to Pops. Y'all got smacked by UT, but you had a couple guys. I did just like Hammer and just looked at the box score, but you had a couple guys with like 19 and 17. So good showing by a couple of your boys. But UT did what they're supposed to do against Tennessee State. And we also have a gauntlet coming up because we got, I don't know the order, but it's Illinois and Houston and Syracuse and a TBD team and one other. Yeah, in Louisville. So we but this is kind of what we've talked about, Hammer. Like go ahead and sharpen the swords here. Figure some things out, tighten some stuff up, tune some stuff up, get ready for SEC play. But you're not going to do that if you're just playing cupcakes the whole time. So I like it, and theoretically that can get you ready for a tournament run when you're running into good teams too.
Yeah, and I know some of the, I guess, trolls is the best way to explain them. There's supposedly national experts and whatever, kind of being critical of Tennessee's schedule being soft on the first 5 games or so. But honestly, with as many new faces that we had come in, I think it was the perfect way for Coach Barnes to sort of figure out that rotation instead of, and I mean, hats off to, Kentucky and everybody else that, is playing top 10, top 15 games in the first few weeks of the season. But
I don't like it right now. I don't like it one bit.
And that's exactly that's the risk you take when you do that. So I like the way it played out this year. So hopefully that's got some things figured out, and we know who's going to be where and doing what. And the guys are a little more familiar with spacing, where they're going to be on the floor, what their tendencies are, switches, things like that. So yeah, I think it sets us up for, I guess as good of preparation as we can have going into some of these big time games. But there is one thing that you touched on earlier, but I was letting you go, Rando. But I do want to circle back to it, is talking about experience with Louisville fans. I mean, all I know is we went up to the Kentucky Fried Bucket last year and beat them by 22 in their gym. So we really,
it doesn't matter
with Louisville.
It does not matter. It does. Look at the overall record with Kentucky basketball and Louisville basketball. They have 3 wins in like the last decade. And they got this one, and it's their Super Bowl. If they beat you, they're going to act like they are the best program. They dominate you every year. It doesn't. Here's what I'll equivalent to, or equal it.
Equate
whatever. Equate whatever. You know I was trying to get whatever. All right, let's not. It would be like next year, Kentucky beating Tennessee, and me sitting here beating my chest about how great of a football program we are, and we beat Tennessee. But you would be like, you beat us once in every 20 years. Like, shut up, right? It's what it'd be. That's exactly what it'd be like. It's like, yeah, we'd be loud about it, but every other rational human being, not a Kentucky fan, would be like, you look stupid. Shut up. You got to win. Congratulations. Act like you've been there before. Oh, wait, never mind. You aren't usually there. Okay.
Right.
So maybe, but think about this discussion that we've had before. We've talked about what are the best rivalries in college basketball. And, I say UNC Duke, but, 100% hats off to Louisville, Kentucky. It's a tremendous one. I give it number 2. And we've talked about why, just because of how close the games are. But there is legitimate hate between Louisville and Kentucky. So, I mean, if this is the team that I hate most and I beat you, and that's the last thing we got to talk about, kind of like we got with the Sweet 16 game, like, I don't care if it's not this is BBN. Like, it doesn't have to be rational. Like, this is where all the emotion and fandom, like, no, it definitely does not make sense. Logically, you are correct. Like, y'all don't have anything to be beating your chest on or anything like that. But they got the last win and they hate y'all, so they're gonna let y'all hear about it. Like, that's
yeah. And I mean, and Louisville,
and I hate y'all too, so I love when I see them do it. So
yeah. And Louisville fans are just as irrational. They just, they're smaller and maybe not just as irrational, but they're pretty close. But they're a smaller fan base, and again, they've just been, since Pitino left, they've been irrelevant. And before that, there was a gap where they were irrelevant. There'll always be little bro. But yeah, they're winning, and honestly, I don't like it, but it's better for basketball and it's better for the rivalry if they're good. I truly enjoyed smacking around by 20 every single year. But you got to acknowledge that it's better when the games are competitive. Like the Cal Pitino games, like those were some of the best memories for the state of Kentucky. Like the entire state would shut down. Don't ask for anything when those games were being played. And the fact that it was 2017, the last time Yum sold out, even though we've played them every single year since then, you could see how they're excited. And I'm happy for them. Not really, but it's like you said, I would have done the same thing. If we would have beat you this year, I 100% came on here and talked like we were, the greatest football team ever. And again, everybody would have been like, "You're an idiot," and I'd be like, "Yep," but we got the win. So I understand where it's coming from. Yeah, exactly. I understand where it's coming from, but it is stupid, and you are not too far removed. You're a few weeks removed from experiencing that again, like you did last year. It's that this time they may actually make it competitive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the greatest basketball rivalries are, of course, Duke, North Carolina, Syracuse, Georgetown back in the day, Kentucky in the first weekend of the tournament. Those are the biggest rivalries.
Enough. And you know what comes after that? Tennessee and Final Fours. All right, if you want to go there. Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying.
But we're talking about an actual opponent, though.
Yeah.
Somebody we got to record.
Yeah. Somebody we got 8 banners hanging up there in Rupp of all those times we got past that first round.
Keep living in past decades. Y'all, you're just like USC being like, "Yo, we won a national championship in 2005 or whatever." Like,
gee, they got 9. We beat Purdue in the preseason.
That's right. That's right. They do have 9 2025 preseason champs. Not even preseason champs because they lost to Georgetown. So just 2025 preseason beat Purdue team
and lost to that Georgetown team too.
Then Georgetown undefeated. Georgetown undefeated, man. They look good.
Other than Kentucky,
they're undefeated. They beat Maryland, didn't they?
We're undefeated too.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying they look good.
Tennessee Tech was undefeated until you played them last week.
Yeah, remember Coach said we were going to lose that game? Hater, that
guy. Black was actually far too civil when Louisville beat UK. He was like bringing up reasoning for why Louisville won. Like he was being way too nice about it. So he was happy that Louisville won, obviously, but he was being in. I was even texting him like, "Stop being so nice and start rubbing this in their face."
Please. I would have had it off the show. I was in my feels. Listen, I will say. I mean, you know, our boy is in it right now, and so I'm happy for him, truly happy for him that they got a win. But watching him in real time when we dropped that thing to 4 after they were winning by 20 plus, the only problem was he was like 15 seconds ahead of us, and I could like when he would be like super sad in the moment. I was like, hell yes, let's go. And then he started clapping. I'd be like, no, what's gonna happen? But yeah, to see like. He was super happy, jumping up and down, drinking his drink, whatever. And then you could just see his like hands go down and like he just silence. I was like, oh my goodness, something's good happening. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We forgot Hammer. They have 10 banners because that's their other banner. The "We brought the lead down to 4 points" banner.
Stop. See, this is the Louisville stuff. This is the Louisville stuff you're buying into.
That's like the other night. That's like the other night when they were playing Michigan State, and then they cut the lead to 10. I don't know if you guys saw it. I tweeted out. I said, and the place erupts. Kentucky cuts the lead to 10.
Yep, that's banner 11 right there.
Changed.
That's 11.
You know what the thing was? We brought it down to 10 and insert Brandon Garrison. Instantly a 10-point swing. Dude,
yeah, I have more probably Kentucky memes for Twitter than I do anybody else, but I'm like, damn, I can't use these because I'm too new and I don't want to get kicked off the show.
Hey, throw them out there, man. I truly believe we're gonna get this thing turned around. We got a lot of big games coming up. We'll see how it goes. Coach Pope is gonna have to make some tough decisions. I just gotta say, I wish the irrational piece of having a coach that actually cares, right? And yeah, he wears his heart on his sleeve and he gives you all the emotions. That's just who the dude is. And while we're beating him up for this, I do not understand. I truly don't. Like I said,
exactly why. Same reason they beat up Coach Cal, because he didn't win.
And Coach Heupel.
Sap. Yeah, it's pretty much the same everywhere. It's just that this is just the level of passion, and especially with Pope being an alum, an alumnus. It's not like he's just some dude they hired off the street. He went to school here. He played here. He won here. And I think he's identified, he's got the great players. Now he's got to figure out which ones are the right ones to put together out on the floor.
Yeah.
Kind of like Herb Brooks with the 1980 U.S. hockey team. I'm not looking for the best players. I'm looking for the right ones. Well, he's got to find the right ones because he's got $22 million worth of them sitting, in that locker room. He's just got to figure out which ones are the right guys.
Which is kind of falling into the same trap that Cal fell in, right? Like Cal would just bring in 5-star after 5-star after 5-star. But
and that created the expectation of Final Four every year, right? I mean, because Rando, am I wrong? Is anything in Kentucky basketball, if it's not Final Four, is considered a failed season? Is that not true?
Yeah, it's 100% true. Especially when we're seeing those top recruit. And in Cal's first decade, it wasn't Final Four every year, but it was Elite Eight almost every single year at least. And even our 8 seeded teams in 2014 were making championship runs and whatnot. Cal only having one was definitely a disappointment with all the talent he had on his team.
Oh yeah,
but his first decade, his first decade will go unmatched. Cal is a Mount Rushmore coach at the University of Kentucky, easily.
No doubt.
And Pope is trying to build himself to that. And again, he has said all the right things. And I will say, like, yes, we got loud about Cal when he was losing. But, Cal was always great in the community. He was always great with the fan base. But, he didn't really he didn't give us much, right? And that first year, especially when the losing started happening in the back half, the last 5 years, it was like, man, especially when we would lose and fans would be at home and he wouldn't even come out and see them, waiting to get their ball signed and whatnot. It'd be Kenny Payne coming out here to talk, to the fans. Like, we don't want to hear what Kenny Payne says. We want to hear why are we losing games? We just saw Arkansas had a 1-point win at home against Winthrop with the talent they have on their team. Yeah. And he came out in the press conference and said, I'm going to do 8th grade shit. And we'll make them pass the ball 5 times before they can. It's like, you want that at the press conference, or do you want Coach like, hey, man, I'm sorry I haven't coached well enough, and I'm going to figure this out. And he looks dejected, and you're like, dude, I really wish, maybe you weren't so emotional. But again, in my mind, I'm like, good. I want it to hurt, dude. I want it to hurt. I want you to lose sleep at night, right? I want to see that pain in your face so I don't have to see it all season. Like, I don't know. That's how I am, and I think that will hopefully get to the players. I just don't know why some of these fans or big media are beating them up so bad about it, calling him lost and in over his head, and just legit. Some of these articles are like for real, saying like, why are we even playing basketball games anymore? It's so
we have them with Heupel. Every passionate fan base, particularly in the SEC, whatever your school's sport is, like, as soon as you lose a game or 2 games, like, the sky will be falling, pop all the red star clusters, all that. it is very frustrating and annoying, particularly if you have a even reasonable level of knowledge about things. So we all get emotional, but yeah, so some folks take it too far.
And I am not without my emotional takes, especially the fire Stoops. But I feel like we had 13 years of a model that showed us that we were in the decline, and now we're getting back up, and we were quickly back on the Stoops train. A lot of us. We'll see how this weekend goes. That might derail very quickly. But yes, I was 100% in the fire Stoops. This team stinks. We need a new coach. And maybe the Mitch Barnhart model of slow playing and slow rolling and not firing him after Tennessee was the right choice. Again, we will see. But we are in Pope's second year, 5 games into the season. The honeymoon phase is 100% over. Like, it's out. Like, you're not getting any grace for losing games like you did against Ohio State or Clemson because you beat Duke and Gonzaga. Like, that's all done. Just win ball games. That's all we really care about. But again, let's recognize, like you said, Hammer, first 5 games of the season, some folks are playing cupcakes right now to kind of figure themselves out. We threw, our feet into the fire, and them coals is real hot, right? Coals is real hot right now. So let's figure out how to cool it down. And I'm hoping, and I do believe in my gut that some of these fans, pundits, whatever you want to call them, are going to look silly here in a couple of months when Pope gets it figured out. So I do think he's a really good basketball mind. And most importantly, like you said, his ties to Kentucky and just like his hatred, even when he was coaching that Utah Valley of losing, I think he's a tireless work ethic type guy, and he'll turn it around. But
yeah, you just need a motivated Mark Pope.
Yes, we do. Unfortunately, Mark Pope's not throwing down bourbon and smoking heaters. So, like, we got to find other memes. That's just not his game, Maybe he does need to do that, and maybe it'll wake him up. But yeah, man, I will. We'll figure out Saturday. Like I said, I got the ball, and then Sunday's my anniversary. If you guys want to get the links and whatnot, do a show. If not, we'll just push to next week. I truly do expect you to go down in the swamp and whip their tail. But if they don't, I'm sure you won't have any business wanting to be behind the camera anyway. So
I was going to say, I'm not even prepared to set myself up because just like the OU game, I'm and it's going to be way worse if it's with Florida.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm on leave Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday as we go into the holidays. So if we miss Saturday, we'll get back on early the week. Maybe do a 2-show week next week. But hey, check out what Mom Duke sent me for anniversary. We got merch, bro.
Hey,
awesome. Look at that.
Hey,
yeah, so cool. And she's got the state line on the front. Can you see it?
Oh yeah, that's cool.
So really good, really cool present. I will say, they got this. She got the state line on the pocket, and then my and our logos on the back. She didn't ask for permission, so if those guys, hey, if you want to, she's my mom, but if you want to sue her, make some money, just let me know. We might
just break us off a percentage.
Yeah.
We'll take some hush money. That's fine.
Yeah, just slide it under the table.
Yeah. Thanks for the gift, Mom, but we might need to tap in that 401k a little early. All right, let's. All right, boys, that's another good one. I appreciate you coming on. I've had to have too many therapy sessions this year, to be quite honest. It's good and bad for me. I wish we could just do more winning. Let's start this weekend against Vandy, and let's just end Pavia's career with 2 losses, just on a low, and he can keep flashing those ones with Theo Vaughn or whoever the hell he's playing with. But let's get two back-to-back losses for Vandy. They feel like they deserve it.
Yes, they deserve it.
Yep. Derek Barnett had a sack, by the way, tonight. Just Tennessee ball.
Ray Davis had a touchdown.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Yeah,
kickoff return.
He would be like if he was on a team as an RB1, I think he could handle the load. I think he's special, man.
He was nice at Kentucky.
Yeah. I think James Cook is very good, and
honestly,
yeah. I think James Cook is good. He deserved the money, but I was silently hoping he was going to do a little bit of a holdout to let Ray Davis at be RB1 and kind of get reps and show what he could do. Because he just kind of be there in that backup role. James Cook's always going to. I mean, the James Cook with the football in his hand is dynamite. I do think Maxwell Harrison got hurt this game.
He did,
and you never know what you get with the Bills, man. They go out there and crush the Bucs and play well, and then they come out here and they were my Super Bowl pick, but they are just too. I mean, they're too up and down to go and they're gonna, they look like world beaters against Kansas City, and then lose the next game, and then I don't know if they're consistent enough to actually get to the Super Bowl. We're gonna have to see.
Allen's got to feed Josh Palmer more. That's his problem. He's not throwing it to the right guy. Got to feed Josh Palmer.
I mean, their number one wide receiver is freaking Shakir. Like, that ain't it. That can't be your one, dude.
Well,
and I think before that it was Dalton Kincaid. Before,
so if that doesn't tell you where their wide receivers stand, and
is Keon Coleman still benched?
Yeah.
Some that dude's been a waste.
I did hear. I can't remember if it was yesterday or this morning. I did hear that one of the offensive linemen gave an interview, and he was pretty candid that some of the veterans on the team kind of pulled him to the side and encouraged him, but also kind of told him how it was. And, you got to get your crap together. And because he's got all the talent in the world. He's a head case.
Yeah. That kid was a stud at Florida State. Very, Absolutely. Very good.
I thought he was going to transition, but it just hasn't happened. And yeah, when you've reached a point where you're bringing Gabe Davis back in to get meaningful snaps on your football team, that ain't good.
Yeah,
that is not good. Yeah, the Josh Allen experience can be special, but he's got to have some weapons around him late in the playoffs if he's gonna win a Super Bowl. If not, the Bills' curse is going to continue. But
and this is a bad matchup for them anyway, because that defense of Houston is, they're just super, super tough.
Yeah.
And they had no answers for Will Anderson.
Will Anderson.
No answer whatsoever.
Such a beast.
Yeah, he's special. All right, gents, so I'm gonna put this up here real quick so we get our shout out. But Stay Line Co. All UK Ball 25 get 25% off. I don't know if they still have the blue polos, but I think they still got the orange. So you get your Tennessee stuff. You got the red, get your Louisville stuff. And they're dropping some fire that's coming out. The new hats they got, super dope coming out. So use that at checkout. Appreciate them sponsoring the show as always. And gentlemen, y'all have a great rest of your week. T, love you, dude. Hammer, enjoy your off Friday, and go tear up some gator in the swamp. Go Cats.
Sure hope so. Go Vols.
Hopefully. Love you, bro. Go Bears.